All right, well, welcome on into this very special episode of the Puck Drop Podcast. This is a really exciting one for me and hopefully for fans of Montreal and the PWHL all across North America. We have two draftees from Team Montreal, name to be determined. We're going to get those dropping this weekend. But we're chatting with draft pick Cayla Barnes and Jenn Gardiner, both friends and teammates from Ohio State. Welcome on in, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you. Super excited.
Thank you. We really appreciate you taking the time. I know you're super busy, both of you. And let's just start with that. Maybe can you just check in with where you are in the world and kind of, how busy you are, what you're up to?
Yeah, I'm in Boston right now. I'm living with my brother. He is a teacher here, so he kind of just lives here. So I'm here with him. I train with a bunch of PWHL girls here. There's girls on Boston, girls on New York. I'm here, so there's a bunch of us that, kind of train and skate here. So just been here doing that and traveling a lot this summer. We've had a lot of things going on, so just traveling a lot. But it's been good. So
Nice, nice. So you're back on the ice already. And Jen, I know you are as well. Why don't you give us the scoop on where you're at?
Yeah, I'm at home in Vancouver as well. So I always spend a lot of my summer here because I like to recoup and just get to see family and friends. So I've been here since the start of July. But before that, I was in Ohio for a little bit of time training as well. And similar to Barnes, just traveling quite a bit and getting to see friends and stuff. But skating and training with the same trainers that I've used for most of my hockey career now. So yeah, it's been good to see them and kind of just finishing up this week with that work and heading to the national camp soon. So
Yeah, could you speak on that a little bit for us? As we're recording this, the senior Team Canada, I don't know if they're just calling it a summer training camp or a week of, red and white with, I think, 48 invitees, including yourself. Can you tell us just a little bit about that?
yeah, it's obviously a huge honor anytime you can represent your country and just go to a tryout camp like that. And looking down the list of names on the roster, there is just a incredible amount of talent there. So it's going to be a really fun week. And after a hardworking summer, I'm really excited to just hit the ice again and kind of show what I've done and hopefully be able to bring that into Montreal as well next year. So it's going to be a really fun week. And I'm really excited to get to St. Catharines and get back on the ice. I've been waiting since our season ended at Ohio State.
Yeah, it's been a long off season. I know in talking to a couple of other NCAA players, by now you would be with your team skating and your season. I mean, you went as far as you could because you won the championship playing on the very last day of the season possible, but it has been a bit of a longer break. Could either of you speak? I mean, you told me that you're having some fun. It's great, very necessary to get all that downtime. Have you found it a little bit too long almost at this point?
yeah, I think like it has been a different like adjustment. I mean, I was in college for basically 6 years, so I've been on the same pattern time period for the past 6 years. So kind of like not being back in school right now or like practicing and lifting like with your team, and knowing that we still have over 2 months still till our season starts is kind of crazy. I mean, obviously we have training camp and stuff in mid-November, but it's still a really long period of time. So it has definitely been an adjustment, just because like we're not used to that. So it has been a long period of time, but I mean the training has been nice and it's like almost like you're getting just, extra reps in and stuff that maybe you might not have had time for in previous summers, because you're trying to get kind of in game shape. So
Right.
uh, that's been kind of nice. There's pros and cons to both, I would say.
Yeah, that's true. You might get a little extra strength training or some, be able to focus on, a basic like your shot or something that you just didn't get those extra reps, as you said. That's awesome. So you're both NCAA champions, as we mentioned, and I know that that's, one of the ultimate highlights. I just want to ask about the championship season at Ohio State, and maybe you could also address the 8 players that were drafted. It was a big story at the draft, all the success of that program. it's just amazing. Can you talk a little bit about your championship season there with the Ohio
I,
State?
I think that it was an unbelievable season. I mean, I think we all had a pretty good feeling from the start of the year, just looking at our roster. We obviously got a lot of incredible players, freshmen and transfers, and we had the pieces. We just needed to put them together, and that was kind of the big question all year was, were we going to be able to do it? And I mean, I don't think any of us had a doubt, to be honest. So I think that it was really rewarding to win in the end of the year because of how many players like Barnes and Bilka who came to Ohio State with a huge goal of winning a national championship, and to get to do that with them and share that with them. And like, just most importantly, we had such a good group of girls as well throughout the season. It's like our team is so close and in every which way. So that's just, it makes it so much better when you do win a national championship, because you look around the room and you know that every girl poured their heart into that game and the entire season. So yeah, to go out on a note like that to end our college career, it was the best possible thing for us, for sure.
Yeah, and for listeners, I'll just interject in case they aren't aware. Jenn was captain of the team and uh, second leading scorer this past year, I think, but leading scorer. I mean, just great offensive player that is just going to be outstanding to watch in Montreal. Congratulations on that. And Cayla, you had transferred in from Boston College. And actually came along with your partner in crime there from Boston, Hannah Bilka, and got the championship that you were seeking. So what was that like?
Yeah, I mean, I think we had a great 4 years at BC. It was a great experience, but with that fifth year of eligibility, we were just, looking for something a little different. And Muzzy and Ohio State kind of offered all those things that we were looking for. And we came in and were immediately welcomed into the team. And it was like, it took a matter of days to feel like I had been there for 5 years. So, like Jenn said, we had just such an amazing group of girls, and we worked really hard and had an amazing season, but we also went through a lot of things together. And I think that brought us really close, and why we still are really close today. So, I would consider a lot of those girls some of my best friends. And, I was only there for a year. So just to have that experience and to go out and end your college career on kind of a high note like that was something that, like, I will always cherish, and like I will look back on. And I'm always, constantly texting with girls and looking forward to the next time I get to see all of them. And luckily, a lot of us got drafted. So I'll be seeing them around the league and when we play them
Yeah.
and stuff. Just on opposite sides this time, but super
Yeah.
lucky to have been given that opportunity, and I loved every second of it. So
Nice. Yeah. So, in looking at the list, Hannah Bilka was drafted by Boston. So that, is kind of a return home for her. That's awesome. And then when the number 5 pick came up and Cayla Barnes' name was announced, I mean, a buzz went through the crowd, and then it didn't take too long. In the very next round, I think it was Brian Burke announced your name, Jenn, and can you talk a little bit about that day? And I mean, I was there. It was an amazing experience. Just so much, family happiness in the air, and with some, nerves about where am I going? This is your entire future. And as players, you haven't been in that position before where you don't choose, you're not applying to a school, you're not selecting the geography. Why don't we start with Cayla? Maybe there was a moment of like, computing what this all means to go to a Canadian city, and then we'll ask you, Jenn, as well.
yeah, I mean, I think that entire day was just a lot of nerves. I would say not in like bad nerves, but you just don't, like you said, this is the first time we've never gotten to choose. So you just don't know what's in store for you. And so just like not knowing what's going to happen or where you're going to go, or there's just a lot of uncertainty. But it was also really fun. Like a lot of us got ready together, and, we had those little moments, and that was really fun to be able to just kind of like calm down a little bit, be with like people that you love and care about, and people going through the same thing. So that was really fun. And I think the purple carpet was super fun. I'm so happy that my family could be there and I could share that moment with them. And then, ultimately when I got drafted to Montreal, I think like I was so excited, but I was also, so in shock. And there's so many different emotions that were going through. Your heart's racing and you're like, oh my God, I have to stand up and I have to go walk on stage right now. Like you kind of like
Mhm.
black out a little bit and I'm like sweating and like all this stuff. So, but once I kind of got through, the stage part and I got to talk to, some people from the Montreal organization, it kind of all started to calm down a little bit and I got to know them and they're great. Everyone's amazing. So I'm super excited to, go there and be a part of such a strong organization that really values their players and like the development of their players as well and team culture. And, those are a lot of values that I, look for in a team. So I'm really excited. And at the end of the day, you want to go somewhere that, where they want you and see, potential in you. So just super blessed to be able to have been drafted by them and excited to, get going here soon.
Yeah, I'll ask you specifically about the Canada US kind of crossover, but I almost think it was not too long after you were doing your post press thing, Cayla, that we heard Jenn's name being announced, and I'm sure that was as exciting for you. And then Jenn, was that similar for you, like frozen or in shock or anything similar or different to that experience that Cayla described?
Yeah, I feel like most players at the draft would probably have a similar experience just because the weeks leading up to the draft, there was so much stress and anticipation and just wanting to know what was going to happen. And so finally on draft day, you were only hours away from everything unfolding. And I think that we all kind of just were talking and we're like, you know what, we can't control it and it's out of our hands. So we just kind of had fun, got ready together, like Barnes said. And then when we all went to the draft, just kind of soaked in every moment of the walk in and then sitting with your family and friends. And I think we had obviously quite a few Ohio State players all there together with family. So all of us to be able to sit together and then after each name was called to stand up, you knew you had 7, 8, or 9 hugs
Yeah.
waiting for you. So that was pretty cool before you walked up on stage. And just to obviously be surrounded by the girls who I played with for about up to 5 years at Ohio State with, it was pretty special to have that there and to have our head coach Muzzy there as well.
Yeah.
Was just incredible because she's obviously somebody who has gotten us all to where we are. So yeah, it was a super fun day. And then obviously I knew Barnes went to Montreal in the first round. So when I was called, I knew that I was in for a good one. I had a roommate, I had a friend, I had everything, or 2 roommates, I should say, because we have Hulk, of course. Um,
Mhm.
but yeah, so it was just a very special day overall, and I couldn't have had it or wouldn't have wanted to go any other way.
Nice. And then we've all seen the snapshots or the footage from behind. It was I don't know what to call it. It was I was running back and forth, but whatever that behind the scenes area when you were shaking hands, and I'm sure that was still a blur, but you found each other pretty quickly, and it was recorded, I think, and it was we get to be roommates, I think one of you said. Can you tell us about that? It was just so heartwarming.
Yeah, I think so. I was already back there and I don't even know, I was doing like interviews or photos or something. There's like a bunch of different stations and the media lady that was taking me around was like, "Do you want to see our second pick?" And I was like, "Yeah." And like I saw Jenn's name and I like literally almost started crying. Um just 'cause like I said, like these are some of my best friends. Like I would have had the same reaction for like any of my Ohio State teammates just to know that like you already have like an immediate friend going in
Mhm.
there and someone that like you've been with all year and it's just like a level of comfort and I'm just so excited. Jenn's one of my best friends, so I think like on top of all the emotions of getting drafted and you're with your family and all that, that was also another like really emotional, like a good emotional exciting moment.
Mhm.
And that's where like all those videos kind of came in because I was just like so happy and I was like, oh my God, like we can be roommates, like yay. Because like in my head I was like there's not a ton of
Mhm.
Americans on Team Canada, and I don't know, or not Team Canada, Montreal, sorry.
Mhm.
And I don't know a ton of players, not only on that team, but in the league in general, aside from like maybe my USA teammates. So just to, like I said, have that level of comfort, and have that right off the bat. It was nice to have.
Yeah, it was. It really can't be overstated. Like you could just feel both of you. You're entering this at the same moment. It's not like, yeah, hi
Sorry, my
doggy.
Hey,
dog in the
Hulk.
It's
back.
okay. Hi
Hey,
There
puppy.
he
This
Ruby.
is all pets welcome. What's his name? Her name?
is.
Oh, Hulky. Oh, so that's who's gonna live with you.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
got you.
But
Okay.
I think it's funny too because we like at the draft we were like, yeah, we're gonna be roommates, like, and all these posts went out. And then a couple weeks later, when I was like, okay, we actually need to get an apartment, I texted Barnes and I'm like, wait, are we like actually living together? Like
Or
we
yeah, was
really
that
talked about it. We just like I just assumed. And then we were like, yeah, of course. So yeah, that's kind of how it all unfolded after that. But yeah, like Barnes said, it was just awesome to know you have a Buckeye and a best friend with you where you're going.
yeah, so it is official roommates. Have you scoped out the apartment scene? Have you signed a lease or anything? Or are you still looking there?
Yeah, we got
No.
we got everything sorted. So hopefully more content to come from inside the place. But yeah, we did find ourselves an apartment. So pretty excited to I've never been to Montreal. Barnes went,
Oh,
was that your first time going?
No, I've been there a couple of times actually. My brother loves Montreal, and his favorite teams also are actually the Canadians. So he's been up there a bunch of times, and I've gone with him a couple of times. So I've been there a few times.
so he
So,
lives in Boston and he's a Montreal Canadiens fan?
No, it's crazy. It's a wild mashup.
Yeah,
He gets a lot of hate for that.
yeah.
yeah, no kidding.
Um, oh yeah, so I was gonna ask you about the city and lead into kind of the US Canada, it's a storyline, kind of gonna hang around. There've been, a few American players on Canadian teams and vice versa, but it's kind of leaned more strongly. I'm not sure how to say it, but like you said, there's a rivalry between Montreal and Boston in the PWHL as well because of, that series. So when you face Hadley Hartmetz and Hannah in Boston, that's going to be like it's going to be different to be on opposite sides. I mean, I know everybody in the end wishes goodwill and all that, but is there any particular like players you're looking forward to being against now or not looking forward to or anything on both sides of those rivalries?
I feel like it's more exciting because when you get to play against your friends, you probably get to visit with them after, and we're all pretty close. So just getting to be able to see familiar faces will always be helpful when you're away from home. But as much as I want them to succeed, obviously when you're wearing different colors and different jerseys, it's game on, and they're gonna have the same mindset as well. So I think that we're all pretty competitive, and when we're on the ice, it's gonna be a battle. But then off the ice, obviously, you're normal, you're best friends, and it's all fun.
Yeah. What about you, Kayla?
Yeah, I agree. I think we're all super competitive, and at the end of the day, we all want to win. But off the ice, it's not personal. At the end of the day, this is our job, and we want to win just as much as they do. So I think that'll make it really fun, and kind of that saying, you're friends off the ice, but not on the ice.
Mhm.
So I think it'll be great. I'm excited to play against. These are the best players in the world in the PW. So just really excited to play against everyone and kind of see the atmospheres. And season one was great, and I watched a lot of the games, and just the fans and everything were phenomenal. So I'm just excited to kind of take it all in and be a part of that as well.
Can you speak just a little bit about, I mean, let's face it, it's a bit of a shock to go to a Canadian place and a francophone city where, you'll definitely get a little bit of that, but don't worry, it won't, that won't be any obstacle at all. You'll get to eat some poutine and just, the all the good things that go with Montreal, but the Canada USA rivalry, and you're playing with Captain Canada, Captain Clutch, and Laura Stacy, and Aaron Ambrose, and Renee Debian. These folks that you probably developed a bit of an attitude towards, and now, all good camaraderie now in place. But any thoughts about that you had to work through a little bit or anything like that? Just living in Canada, embracing all of that?
I mean, I don't know, not really. I mean, USA Canada rivalry is a different ball game. You know, if when I say strongly dislike from the USA Canada perspective, I would say both sides would say the same thing when it comes to that rivalry. It's just a very deep-rooted rivalry that um, you know, battles consistently over and over and over again. So, and like I said before, off the ice, I would say a lot of us are friends. But on the ice, that rivalry is, when it's Team Canada, Team USA, it's going to be very competitive, hard fought, representing our countries. But, you know, now a lot of Team Canada players are my teammates, and I'm really looking forward to being able to get to know them off the ice and from a different perspective. These are some of the best players in the world. And so just being able to play with them and learn from them is such an honor. There's so much experience there, and, they've won a lot of gold medals, and they have a lot of experience, like I said. So just excited to be able to play with them and learn from them, and hopefully, get to know them as well and call them my friends. So I think USA Canada is a different ball game than, when it comes to moving to Montreal. And, I'm excited to move to Canada. I'm young, might as well go do something crazy while I'm young. So excited to do that and have a new experience and kind of step outside my comfort zone a little bit. So I'm really looking forward to it, and I think it'll be great.
Yeah, that's nice. And what about for you, Jen? Hopefully you get to experience, the World Championships and the Rivalry Series, and then you'll flip back around to being on opposite sides from Cayla. So any words about that rivalry as well, or just the city of Montreal in general?
Yeah, I mean, similar to what Barnes said, just with being part of the Hockey Canada program, you obviously strongly dislike the US, much like they dislike Canada. So I think that we feel the same, but when it comes to the PWHL, we're all there for the same common goal, which is promoting women's hockey and getting to live out our dreams of doing so. So I think that when I'm in Montreal, obviously I having a little bit of an advantage with mostly Canadian teammates, but at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter where you're from or anything about that. We're all just playing hockey together, and I think everyone's just super excited. And I'm really counting down the days literally until training camp starts. I can't wait to get there, and to have Barnes come into Canadian territory is going to be awesome, and for us to experience Montreal together will be super fun. But yeah, I have not been to the city yet, so. She checked out the apartment for us though. So
Oh,
we've seen it, but yeah.
yeah, Boston's a little bit closer. You can drive there pretty quickly. You'll have to introduce her to the loonies and toonies and the money, all the different things. It's just going to be so much fun. I think hopefully you guys can, post some videos about, first time doing this or first time doing that. So we can't really get any dirt from behind the scenes. Are you willing to go out on a limb about any particular player that you faced? I mean, whether it's Poulin, Stacy, Ambrose, Debian. I'm trying to think. I know Maureen Murphy is American, and I know there's another American that I'm forgetting on Montreal. You guys probably studied the roster a little more, but any names you can throw out, I mean, that you've had any special moments with, either against or with, or anything like that for us? Doesn't have to be like hot, spill any tea, but just like a moment that you remember with any of those folks. And you're coming from different angles, so I imagine they'd be different.
I think for me, a really cool moment I had was actually at the draft was with Ambrose and Poulin. They both kind of pulled me aside after I got drafted and just like immediately made me feel welcome. They were talking to me. They went up, they bought me a drink. It was awesome, and I really got to know them. I've like never had that experience because I've never been on a team with them or in the same like area as them. I've only ever played against them in these like hard fought, like crazy like battles. So That was like really cool to experience, and they were so nice and so welcoming. And they've been, ever since then, they've been so helpful with, me and Jenn with a lot of things. So I think that was like something that was really cool for me because I just have never had that like personal like interaction with any of them. Um, so I think that's something that like I remember that I was like, oh, that was really nice and that was really cool. And it's a testament to like who they are and the type of people they are and leaders. So I'm just was, excited about that and something that, kind of stood out to me.
Yeah.
I actually was thinking of the same memory. I'm like, as soon as you started talking, Barnes, I'm like, oh my
Uh-oh.
gosh. But yeah, so just similar, like obviously I have known them for a couple of years now, but still at the draft, they just seemed genuinely so excited for both of us to join the organization and immediately gave hugs and everything. And it just made the moment that much more surreal. And just I was even that much more excited to go to Montreal. And it was all such a shock, but it just felt like home right away. And I think that playing alongside those girls, they're all such incredible people off the ice. And I've really gotten to see that over the years at camps and things away from the rink as well. So it just makes it that much more exciting to get to go to Montreal, be their friends, and have a successful season, hopefully.
Yeah, and get some revenge on Boston for that heartbreak series, the double overtime, triple overtime. So I think that's going to be in the air every time those two teams meet, at least. And then with Toronto, I think there's a built-in rivalry as well. Really, really can't wait to see you on the ice. Like you said, it's taking too long, but we'll get there eventually. So we'll let you go, but can you just quickly let us know, what the next, say, month or 6 weeks, I think you mentioned, where you are, you got to head to camp, Cayla staying in Boston for a little bit and then going straight to Montreal. Like when will you actually land there with your suitcases and get ready to roll?
Yeah, we're both going beginning of October. So like October 1, we're both kind of heading up there and just looking to, start training with the girls there and skating with them. And then just kind of roll from there, right? And, get settled and then roll from there right into um, rivalry and camp right after that. So that's kind of, I feel like both of our plans once we hit Montreal. So.
Yeah, I'm similar. I have to make a pit stop in Ohio after camp because I have to go and grab all of my stuff that's in storage there. So once I grab that, I will drive to Montreal around the start of October as well to meet Barnesy and yeah, we'll get moved in and get everything sorted out.
Nice, nice. It's the glam lifestyle of being a professional. I mean, you can both say, I'm a professional hockey player. Like, how cool is that, right? I mean, just, you're both signed, you're both ready to go. It just can't come soon enough. So I will let you go. I know you got to get going where you're going, and I just really appreciate the time. We can't get Hulk to make another appearance. We
Yeah,
had a we had a kitty appearance at my end, and then I mean, this I love getting the real behind the scenes, but thanks so much just for taking the time, and I'm so glad you get to do this together. And even, when I was inquiring about interviewing you and was told you'd love to do it together, I was not surprised at all. It's just, I think the story of your friendship and teammateship is going to be definitely one to watch this season.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you so much for having us on. I feel like, I mean, we're both in the same spot, just super excited to get to Montreal and can't wait for the season to start.
Yeah, this was so fun. Thank you so much for having both of us and always love to do anything with Jenn. So this is great. Love to
The
talk hockey
Buckeyes always are together. So
Yeah.
yeah.
together. So especially love to talk hockey. So this was great. So thank you for having us.
Oh, you are so welcome. And hopefully we'll get to do this again during the season. I'm sure I will see you and either one of the Canadian cities most likely, but just can't
Cheering for
wait.
Montreal, right?
Oh, probably. Yes,
Okay.
I showed the girls that I had my shirt on, and thanks again for the time, and we will see you on the ice down the road. Good luck with Team Canada, Jen. And thank you so much, Cayla and Jen, for the time today.
Thank you so
Thank
much. That was awesome.
All right. See you later.